Trending conversations around Africa deserved to be spoken about. And of course, we do justice to that as we have Elizabeth Musa joining us this morning to look at what's trending. Good morning, Liz, and thank you for joining us on Trend Wave.
Birthday girl.
Good morning, Olive. Good morning, Osa.
Good morning. How was yesterday?
Great. It was truly great. I'm actually exhausted.
Oh,
Okay.
From all
I like
the
that
fun.
kind of exhaustion from enjoyment.
From
Made
all
that
the
exhaustion
fun.
before.
Maybe specific. Oh, okay. From all the fun. Oh, okay.
Ah, yeah.
Okay.
What were you thinking?
Exhaustion. You've been just celebrating too hard and stuff.
You know what? Let's go to.
Let's start
Trend Wave.
with Trend Wave
Okay.
today, where we're taking you to South Africa, where the Nazareth Baptist Church in Ebuhleni, in the northern section of Durban, South Africa, has conducted a free virginity test on women who visit their church and are 18 years of age and older in an effort to promote chastity amongst women in the society. This is a yearly event conducted by the church, and those who successfully complete the exercise receive a certificate of virginity as well as a mark on their forehead. Every year, the ladies anticipate the event with great anticipation. The test is often conducted in the middle of every year, and the certificate is rendered invalid by the middle of next year when the church administers the subsequent virginity test. On Monday, the 4th of July, the church administered the test for the 2022 to 2023 period, and those women who passed received certificates. The leader of Nazareth Baptist Church and the expert who happened to perform the test both signed the certificate. Now, you can see on the screen right there the ladies who, of course, have passed this test and them holding their certificate of virginity. And it's quite interesting because to see this happening. This is actually what is trending in South Africa. This is a certificate of virginity and then expiring because they have to test again. I wonder how they test, but let's see how people are reacting to this particular one on social media before I get to you, Olive and Osa. Loads of reactions on this particular one on social media, Olive and Osa, but I want to hear what you think about this particular.
I'll let Osa go first. After he
Wow.
goes.
Why are you throwing me out there like that? I mean, one of the things, good thing you mentioned, you like to know how the tests are carried out. But I just wanted to, say it would be funny, if, a person goes this year and then next year they don't show up. Ha!
But 1 year, there's a year that will come that they won't show up.
Yeah, I know. It would just be hilarious.
It would be interesting to see this actually being carried out in Nigeria, don't you think?
What? So I think it's I don't know the name, but I think it's a part of the culture in South Africa. If you see some of these pictures every now and then, people post some of these pictures on Twitter where there are women who are unclad, upwards. And it's a particular. I'm not sure what it is, but it's part of their culture. I think it's pretty much the same thing with what the Yorubas do, what they call the fattening room. They also have something like that.
Is it the Yorubas that do that, or the Calabar people?
Sorry, the Calabar people,
okay.
Yeah. It's a part of their culture,
Maybe
that
transition
they
to
stay
womanhood.
virgin to a particular age, and then they always, go through that rite every now and then. So
Okay, I do have
nothing. I know Olive is going to say it's intrusive, but I just wanted
That's
to
not
say,
just
it's part
all.
of their culture.
That's not
I just want to know how it's carried out.
Well, I did look up how it's being carried out, and it's being carried out by physical examination, where that involves 2 fingers in a woman's genitals, which I find extremely intrusive. But I'm going to mention, first of all, my thoughts on virginity, and then the 2 concerns I have. Now, I do think it's a great thing to keep your virginity, to want to wait until you get married, to avoid, it will take away several challenges of, like, for example, unplanned pregnancies and STIs. It takes away all of that, right? So I'm all for you trying to push chastity, a culture that pushes chastity. That's fantastic. Now, my concern, as regards this type of examinations, or this kind of conversations are twofold. One, the fact that the virginity test, women are the ones that are being subjected to it. Whilst, of course, we cannot identify how a man who is a virgin or who isn't a virgin. But it's unfortunate that women are the ones who are made to uphold chastity, forgetting that it is men that have intercourse with these women that make these women lose their virginity. So what are we doing to the boys?
Great.
How are we teaching them as well to be able to wait? If we're teaching the women to wait, we must also teach the men to wait.
Actually.
Second thing would be, what is the medical proof of a woman's virginity. There are women who are born without a hymen, and the hymen can be broken by activities such as cycling, horse riding, and the likes. So what do you say of a woman? And there are women who, in the course of being disvirgined, do not bleed. These things are myths that have been, debunked over time. So over the years, how can we prove that a woman is actually a virgin? Which is why I say this test really is a test that should be rendered inconclusive.
So,
I don't think that it should be administered.
I've never, been in South Africa or spoken with South African concerning this, but I do not want to believe that it is a do or die, type of thing. I feel it is a thing that you get involved with if you choose to. It's not once you are 15 or 18 and
their parents.
Sorry?
Do you think this young girls actually choose to, or it's their parents that make this decision?
Thank you very much for that.
That's what I'm saying. I do not know. But of course, no young girl at 15 tells her parent that, I've chosen that I want to lose my virginity.
We are Africans. African parents hardly would ever be okay with knowing that their kid that is 14 or 15 is engaging in premarital sex.
But at the same time, whether the parents are okay with it or not, someone who's 15 or 14, isn't going to just randomly decide that they want to lose their virginity at that time. It doesn't happen like that.
It does happen. People do have sexual intercourse younger than that. Some are, unfortunately. So what happens to women who have been taken advantage of? Right? Of course, you cannot give consent if you're younger than that age, if you're younger than 18. If you do have sexual intercourse under the age of 18, it is not consent. Consent given as a minor is not consent. But what happens where the parties involved, both of them are minors? So there are several angles we can look at this conversation to talk about the fact that, it just doesn't, it's
I just feel it is their tradition. Yes, I understand the parts where it might seem intrusive. I completely agree with the fact, the parts where it cannot just be women or girls who are asked to, to remain virgins.
Chastity.
Exactly. It has to be the same thing for boys. I've always spoken about how young boys need to be, be spoken to, right from when they're in primary school about respecting women.
But do you also agree with the fact that there is no known foolproof plan or machinery to test for a woman's virginity?
So there is that, and that's why I started by saying that I do not know how serious these things are.
Even
if you get there and you say that you were riding a bicycle and you lost it, no one is going to flog you. You're not going to go to jail.
That's the funny thing. Some women don't even know that they have actually lost their virginity. They don't even know. So because I'm telling you this as a woman who has and understands the body of a woman and has had conversations with other women, there's no yardstick to measure a woman's virginity. And even a gynecologist would tell you that there's no really known way to know how a woman...
I think there's a yardstick is just,
It's just you that knows in your heart that I haven't, you know in your heart.
There's a medical term, a medical description or definition for someone who's still a virgin.
Someone who doesn't have a hymen.
That's the medical description.
Yes.
So you can decide that, okay, yes, this is what it is, but there are certain situations where it can be lost or it can be broken through physical activity.
And there are exceptions, meaning that there are women who are born without hymen.
You probably
if we continue to have this conversation, we will keep arguing. So please tell us what's trending next.
You know what? I like what they're doing, trying to promote chastity, but I think there has to be something much more than just a certificate.
And I think we also need to learn more about this. Yeah. Because we currently are arguing blindly.
So we need to keep an eye
on it. Quick question, is this in South Africa?
Yes, South Africa.
You're talking about promoting chastity, and I wanted to ask about the rates of HIV in South Africa.
That's a story for another day.
So it just shows that at the end of the day, it's not as effective, maybe.
Exactly.
Once again,
I think it's just the
even
church.
though sexual intercourse is not the only way they
once again, we all three of us need to learn more about this particular thing, because none of us, have been, spoken with anybody in South Africa who has actually experienced it.
Okay,
so
we will look forward
really
to bringing. We should bring a correspondent from South Africa
to be clear on what exactly this is about.
We'll probably have Candice over.
Yes, but there's no known way to prove a woman's virginity. But let's go on.
Exactly. So we still stay in South Africa, where a man simply identified as Saeed has made a record after arriving in Mecca on foot 3 years after he set off from his home country to Islam's holiest place, Mecca. Apparently, he began this nearly impossible mission on the 30th of August 2018 and went across Palestine, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, Kenya, Sudan, and Egypt before being forced to stop by the stopped by because of the COVID-19 border closure. Saeed, who happens to be a native of Cape Town, has declared that he will return on foot via the same route immediately after Hajj. He actually spoke to reporters about this experience shortly after arriving in Saudi Arabia. Here is the video.
Assalamu alaikum. So that's Brother Shahid. He's from Cape Town and he walked all the way to Mecca. It took him 3 years, mashallah, and he's been through Africa from southernmost to the northernmost, mashallah. Brother, how long are you going to be here for?
Inshallah, I'm here for Hajj, so after Hajj I will continue my journey back, inshallah.
Are you walking back?
Inshallah. I left South Africa on the 30th of August 2018, leaving South Africa via Zimbabwe, Zambia, Tanzania, Kenya.
What happened during the COVID time?
Sudan, Egypt, Gaza, Palestine, and then when I want to leave Palestine, they closed the borders during the Corona COVID period. Then I stayed in Palestine, Masjid al-Aqsa, for 1 year and 8 months. After they reopened the border, I continued my journey via Jordan, Medina.
That is the video of Saeed right there. I wonder what it is like to walk all the way for 3 years just to head to Mecca. Interesting, but let's hear how people are reacting to this particular story on social media. That one is from Stan. Stan says he actually walked through the valley of the shadow of death. Literally, I agree. Let's see more reactions on this one. Dallas says, it'd be like say, I would also start my own trekking. Before 10 years, I would get to the UK. That's how Dallas feels about this one. More reactions on this. This one is from Legal Diva. She says, if no before small Atlantic Ocean, myself, I for don't trek reach America since. And apparently, lots of Nigerians are trying to leave the country, so that's the story. Emmy says, damn, what is the walk all about? Secondly, he even looks elder than our sheikh. Oh my goodness. It says also he looks elder than our presidential aspirant that's been traveling with planes for someone who has been walking with us with his bare legs for 3 years. Anyway, that's the story that is coming out of the South African social media space at the moment on Twitter. And it's quite interesting to see someone walk all the way to Mecca for 3 years, Osa and Olive. Would you do that?
No, I wouldn't. But I'm always excited, seeing people set life goals for themselves and achieve them. It doesn't matter how long it takes.
So what's the life goal? Yeah, I'm trying to understand.
His life goal might be to walk to Mecca.
I don't know if there's, it might be that he wants to even break a Guinness World Record.
May not be, yeah.
Because he said he would walk back.
Yeah.
So his name would,
if no one has done this, then he automatically breaks record as the man who walked 3 years to get to Mecca.
Or walk the longest.
Walk the longest, exactly.
I mean, remember we had celebrated a Nigerian who rode a bike
cycled rather.
Yes.
No, who rode a bike or motorcycle, from London to Lagos. So
fighting polio though.
Yeah, that's for polio, but
so
his for a different reason.
For?
Well, his walk might just be to go meet his maker in Mecca.
He could just travel there, don't you think?
No.
Just take him.
That's why I've called it a life goal.
Exactly.
Some people have these life goals that they want to do something like this before they're 50, before they're 60.
Yeah.
Mine used to be skydiving. I've ticked that off. So I'm thinking of something new, maybe to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. If there's one thing you want to do, Liz, before you in this lifetime, what would it be? And I'm going to ask you as well, Osage.
Ooh.
I'm an adventure person, so adventures.
I've wanted to bungee jump for a long time, so I still have that on my bucket list, and I hope I get to do that.
Okay, interestingly, I've gone skydiving, but I'm afraid of bungee jumping because that feels a lot more daring.
I want to.
Okay, Osage, your turn.
Attend a Coldplay concert.
Oh, I love Coldplay too.
Yeah, it's one of them.
Okay, let's hope so. Thank you very much for joining us, Liz.
Always a pleasure.
All right, do have